There comes a moment in life when the noise of the world quiets and the wisdom of years begins to speak louder than ambition. Welcome, dear friend, to this space, where the lessons of age are offered not as rules, but as gentle lanterns along your journey. Today, we'll reflect on truths learned slowly, sometimes painfully, often beautifully. Truths about time, solitude, kindness, uncertainty, integrity, gratitude, and the quiet treasures hidden in everyday life. Let's begin. The weight of time. Time is both our dearest gift and our most fleeting companion. When I was young, I thought time would always wait for me. I postponed dreams, I delayed conversations, I believed tomorrows would stretch endlessly. But years pass, and with them, opportunities vanish, often without warning. The birthdays you meant to celebrate, the letter you never wrote, the embrace you thought you'd have another chance to give. The truth is, time doesn't return what we ignore. I once knew an elderly man who kept a box filled with pocket watches, each belonging to a friend who had passed away. He told me, "Every tick you hear isn't just a second lost. It's a reminder to cherish what remains." So, spend your hours wisely. Invest them in laughter with your children, in slow walks with someone you love, in moments of silence under the stars. For these, not wealth or status, are the true riches of life. The comfort of solitude. Loneliness feels heavy, but solitude is different. Solitude can be sacred. I recall the first time I truly sat with myself. No distractions, no voices, no clock ticking in the background. At first, it was uncomfortable. My mind ran wild, replaying regrets, weaving fears. But slowly, silence became a teacher. It asked me questions no one else dared to ask. It showed me the patterns in my life, where I had hidden from myself. Solitude can be a mirror, reflecting not who we pretend to be, but who we truly are. And in that stillness, I found creativity. I found courage. I found forgiveness for the parts of myself I once disliked. So don't run from solitude. Walk into it. Let the quiet reveal your soul's true shape. Because once you are comfortable in your own company, you'll never feel truly alone again. The power of small kindnesses. We live in a world obsessed with grand gestures, big promises, big speeches, big achievements. But the older I get, the more I realize it is the small kindnesses that shape the world. A young neighbor once came to my door just to check if I needed groceries. She stayed for tea, and though it lasted only 10 minutes, I felt seen in a way that healed an entire week of loneliness. One of my dearest friends once told me that the only kindness he remembered from his father was a single pat on the shoulder after a hard day. One pat. But he carried it like a medal his whole life. We think we need to do extraordinary things to matter. But often, it is the ordinary gestures, the smile, the listening ear, the patient silence, that echo for decades in someone else's memory. Never underestimate the weight of kindness. It may feel small to you, but to another, it may be everything. Embracing uncertainty. If life has taught me anything, it is this. Control is an illusion. We plan. We schedule. We promise ourselves that tomorrow will look just like today, until it doesn't. I once lost a job I thought I would retire from. At the time, it felt like the world was collapsing. But losing that job pushed me toward a new path, one that brought more joy and peace than I could have imagined. Uncertainty is frightening because it strips away our illusions. But within it lies the seed of transformation. The question is not, will life change? Because it will. The real question is, will I resist or will I grow? Trust that the unknown can carry you towards something better. Sometimes the detour is the destination you never knew you needed. Living with integrity. When I was younger, I thought success was about money, recognition, applause. But as the years wore on, I learned that none of these last. What lasts is integrity. I once knew a carpenter who worked for little pay. People laughed at him for his stubborn insistence on perfection. He refused shortcuts. When I asked him why, he said, "Because when I walk past a house I built, I want my spirit to smile." He didn't have wealth, but he carried dignity. And that dignity, I believe, is worth more than gold. Integrity is living in alignment with your values, even when nobody notices, even when nobody thanks you. At the end of your days, your reputation will fade, but your character, how you lived, how you treated others, how true you stayed to yourself, will remain etched in eternity. Gratitude, the heart's anchor. Gratitude is not just polite words. It is a posture of the soul. Every morning, I rise and whisper 3 things I am grateful for. Some days it is simple: a warm cup of coffee, the sound of birds, the fact that my legs still carry me. Other days, it is profound. Forgiveness offered, family reunited, health restored. Gratitude reframes pain. It doesn't erase hardship, but it teaches you to see beauty even in struggle. I remember once being in the hospital, unable to walk for weeks. At first, I raged, but then I noticed the kindness of the nurse who fluffed my pillow, the laughter of children visiting their grandfather down the hall, the sunlight streaming across the floor tiles. Gratitude doesn't ignore suffering. It transforms how we endure it. And that transformation gives us strength. The gift of letting go. We spend so much of life holding on, holding grudges, holding possessions, holding the past. But wisdom whispers, sometimes letting go is the only way to live fully. I once carried anger toward a friend who betrayed me. Years later, I realized the anger weighed only me down. The moment I forgave, I felt light. Not because he changed, but because I no longer chained myself to bitterness. Letting go isn't weakness, it is strength. It's the courage to unclench your fists and allow life to flow again. The beauty of ordinary days. Not every day is meant to be extraordinary. In fact, it is the ordinary days that form the fabric of life. The smell of bread baking, the sound of rain tapping against your window, the familiar creak of the chair you always sit in. These details seem small, but they are the chapters of your story. One day you'll realize the things you thought were unremarkable were the very things that gave your life meaning. So, dear friend, what have we uncovered today? That time is precious. That solitude is not emptiness, but depth. That kindness transforms both giver and receiver. That uncertainty is a doorway, not a wall. That integrity is your truest wealth. That gratitude steadies the heart. That letting go frees the spirit. And that ordinary days are the quiet miracles we often overlook. Carry these lessons gently, not as commandments, but as invitations. May you walk slowly, love deeply, forgive freely, and find peace in the small moments that make life whole. Until next time, may wisdom guide your steps, and may your spirit remain ever young.